Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to
Midnight Madness.
Well, we did it in sync for the first time.
I like it when we're out of sync sometimes, you know?
I noticed that
It gives it a little more spooky feel.
all the time.
Yeah. It needs to more spooky. I'm missing Halloween already.
I know.
You know,
I actually started looking at videos and Pinterest images of Halloween. I found myself looking at Halloween costumes today. I'm like, what am I doing?
I know. Halloween isn't long enough. That's the thing. You know, I feel like Christmas is all month.
I love Christmas.
Yeah.
But I was really like jonesing and like going into like how they were doing Elvira's makeup, and like I was looking at the costumes and I'm like, am I really looking at Halloween costumes right now?
Of course you are. Because you know what it is? Oh, by the way, when we were on the plane, did I tell you that I watched Krampus?
Yeah,
I did tell you.
I tried to watch it.
What'd you think?
It's not my kind of movie.
I loved it. I thought it was so good.
I could see why. I mean, I could see it catered to, there's a part of you that it's the part of you that likes Captain Crunch and cereal boxes and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that part of you, I think, is a part of you that liked it.
The part of me that liked it was
and
this.
By the way, you know there's another Krampus coming out. There's a part 2.
Or it's probably already out because that was around a while ago. Okay. So you guys probably have seen Krampus. I'm not a big horror movie guy. I like the old school few classics. The Exorcist, the first Halloween. Just a handful.
Has any of you ever tuned into a trance channel before who talks like Riz?
What's that mean?
I love Halloween. I love these spooky movies. And you know, a
lot of channelers don't talk about things like that.
Yeah, most people when you tune into a channeler has to be holy at all times, apparently. And what they don't understand is this earth is holy, this experience is holy, the universe is holy, everything is holy.
I've always said,
it's
saying,
all God.
Right? So when you say we are spiritual beings having a human experience, actually, what we like to say is you are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. Because
people have an idea of what spirituality is, right? Mm-hmm. So as there's these new awakenings, people are starting to think that being spiritual means it's always namaste, and it's always
there's a certain way you eat, there's a certain way you dress,
like commerce, you can't like pop culture, you can't be a part of the world.
You can't go through the drive-through.
It reminds me a lot of Christianity, honestly.
It just becomes another religion.
Free from religion, right. And I found myself like I was going into the spiritual group like in 2010, the kind of people that were like, you know, bohemian and all that, you know, in this big wave.
Right.
And I remember going to you and I said, this reminds me a lot of a religion. Is this a religion? And you said, no, it's actually people having a spiritual experience. And I said, yeah, but there's like a way to do it. Like if you talk about aliens, you have to be very serious. If you are channeling or anything like that, you have to be always like, we know some channels personally that we've met that they are very down to earth, which is really cool. And that is awesome. It's just, I find it interesting because you talk about things that no channel will talk about. I think you're like the one and only channel who will talk about those things.
I think I am. I mean, it's my own personality. I think you should let your own personality shine through in whatever it is that you do, whatever job that you have. So this is my job. I'm not going to put on airs and trying to be like someone who came before me. If it naturally rubs off on me, if your teachers, your gurus, your mentors rub off on you, then that naturally happens. But why change to adapt to something? Because I'd rather be the first Riz than the next somebody else.
Well, in the Indian culture, wasn't there gurus that there were some that were like off the beaten path, like Osho?
Most gurus, I believe, were off the beaten path because they had to come out and share insights with people that they weren't obviously seeing. Mm-hmm. So, you know, even that word guru just means, it's 2 words in Sanskrit. It's gu and ru. Mm-hmm. Sanskrit is the most incredible language when you learn about it, because it's not only the words that have meaning, but the sounds, the consonants and the vowels, the way they're coming through the body and the vibration they carry. It emanates that energy as well. And it's on purpose, is what I'm saying. Right. So many times in India, a guru will give you a personal mantra. And that mantra is only for you to know. Mm-hmm. And so it's sort of this initiation. But the guru really simply meant Gu and Ru, which was someone who takes you out of the dark.
That's a good word.
Right.
I love that.
So now you have Wall Street gurus, you have music gurus, you have Gordon Ramsay is a cooking guru, right? So we're bringing that forward. And I think that with channeling, people have been like, they experience channeling even in some religions, like in many religious ceremonies, even I think it's the Pentecostal church, they'll speak in tongues. What is that about? Okay, so not to get too much into it tonight, though I guess we could. It's what we do. You guys are here with us. I think it's about when you're stepping out of the way as a channeler, or you're stepping out of the way and you reach a place of openness or a moment of enlightenment. Notice how carefully I have to say that word now. I can't say when you hit enlightenment, because then everybody will be like, what do you mean? This is what enlightenment is, and that is what enlightenment is. So now we're having to even back away from the word enlightenment.
I think it's because people are getting to a point where they feel the rug is being pulled out from underneath them. They don't know who to trust anymore. They can't trust the institutions. They can't trust the government. They can't trust the educational system. All their heroes have disappointed them. They're disgusted and disturbed by human behavior, and everybody feels let down. And so that's what you're seeing, this rebellious act of everybody nitpicking on what everybody's saying. But I've been giving this a lot of thought, and I think if it resonates with you and it feels good and feels right, then that's your truth, honestly.
Well, we do put a lot of pressure on people to be perfect. And what does that even mean? Does perfection even exist?
And does it match our childhood programming? Because what we thought was perfect in the 70s or the 80s, or, and our kids, they have their perfection in the 90s and early 2000s. So yeah, times are changing and we're changing with them. So hopefully all of you guys who are joining us today, welcome. Hopefully you will have a good time with us tonight. What we're going to do is we are husband and wife team, host of Midnight Madness. This is Riz Mirza, and he is a trance channel psychic medium and much more. He's a shaman and animal communicator, and just the list goes on and on. We have another podcast called Psychic Sundays, which we love doing, and that's where we have a live broadcast. People join the chat and ask questions psychically. Riz answers. So, but tonight what we're going to do is I am going to sit with Riz as he channels, as I have done for the last 13, 14 years. And I am going to ask a question. I always say that. I'm going to talk about one topic and ask a few questions.
To the spirit guide. So we call this segment Interview with a Spirit Guide.
Yep.
And that's really kind of what it is, though the interview is not like 10 questions. It's usually one topic, right? But we call it Interview with the Spirit Guides because it's just Araya and I. And we brought this to you guys because this is what's been going on in our house, not just at midnight on during the week, but all the time. This is what happens at our house. I'll be sitting in the chair and the family will be around and I'll feel the presence, and the presence is when I feel a guide is around. Sometimes these guides have names that you've never heard of. They could have a simple name like John, and it's not necessarily a saint. It's a teacher, and maybe that's their name. And sometimes there are spirit guides that are very well known, and people love when I channel well-known spirit guides, whether it's a deity or it is what a so-called mythological figure. Why do I say a so-called mythological figure? Well, because why should you say that certain belief systems are mythology, but the so-called major religions are not?
That's interesting. So like paganism, for instance.
Yeah. And I don't like when they say Hindu mythology. What makes you think this is mythology?
Or Celtic mythology.
Why is Krishna less real than Jesus?
Who said it was mythology?
Right.
Why isn't Christianity mythology?
Right.
Why isn't it equal and fair across the board?
Well, the reasons are that, the people who win tell the story, right? So they like to be the main source or the accepted thing. But guess what? Channeling predates all those belief systems. We know this because the shamanic culture, the shamans, the channelers, they've been around. And in fact, they even showed up in all the religions because they brought messages.
It's true.
So the channelers were in all tribes. Doesn't matter what skin color you are, dark skin, light skin, and somewhere in between. We all came from tribes, and in that tribal culture, there was always a medicine woman or man, there was always a chief, or there was always a healer, and there was always a channeler or a shaman. So this has been around. So us sitting around the fire, hopefully you have a candle at home. If you have one nearby, grab it and light it because you are a part of this channeling too. It's not just me sitting here. So light a candle. And if you don't have one, next time, join us and bring a candle with you. And we're going to begin. And so this is, I don't know. Here's the interesting part. I don't know who I'm going to channel even at this very moment. And this is the way I like it. Do you like it like that?
Yeah, I've gotten used to it. I'm actually starting to really feel their energies coming into the space right now. And this usually happens to me. If you guys have ever watched some of the previous episodes, I go into this altered state. I get this weird face. I watch myself on when I play back and I go, oh my God, what is that expression? But it feels like an elephant, like heavy, powerful, dense energy in the room comes in, and it becomes very like, you just have to surrender. You have no choice and just allow what the transmission is going to come through.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
And this is, I want a word to you guys who are wanting to connect to your spirit guides. In the coming weeks and months, I'm going to be sharing more and more tips on how to connect with your spirit guides. And as you sit here with me and listen to this, you have the opportunity to begin to expand even your own sensitivity by really dropping in with me. This is what I really want to share with you, is that channeling is not just you're sitting there and watching a channeler.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You
You can go in with us. It's just going inward.
Right.
Right.
So you're not focusing on me or what my face looks like or the accent that's coming out. All of that is just, it is what it is. Go into the energy, go into the feeling, go into the message, go into the understanding. Because the reason we do this work and why we've been doing it all these years is for you and for all of us to have a cleaner energetic field, to be more at peace within ourselves, to not be at war within ourselves and therefore not at war with others. And that's what makes a better world. Okay, so this is why we do it, just to lay that out there right now. We love you guys. We thank you for watching and for being a part of this community on Metamystic. And if you haven't subscribed, of course, do subscribe and say hello to us.
Yeah, share with your friends and family. A lot of people are curious and surprised when they're introduced to channeling. So
Right.
think of somebody that would be interested. So tonight's topic that I picked, Riz has no idea.
Nope.
And so we're going to, I guess, get started pretty soon.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun, is that we just really do this spontaneously.
Yeah.
As you can see, this entire set was built spontaneously.
It was like that.
All right, just like that. You
Just
could
like
do. You
that.
could do. Well, you're kind of like, I remember I Dream of Jeannie, guys. Remember that TV show? Just
Or
blink,
Bewitched.
fold your
I
arms,
loved
and blink.
Bewitched when she went and cleaned the rooms. When Tabitha's room was a mess, she'd go in there and I think it was she would wiggle her nose or something.
Oh,
And
that's
then
right.
everything would go back into place. And I was a little kid and I was like, oh, I want that. It was so cute.
Well, you guys don't know what those shows are. You can find them on Amazon, probably. Okay. Shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay, guys, settle down. Settle down. Let's slow it down right now. I'm right here with you. Instead of this, I'm right here with you like this. Let's always be from third eye to third eye. Relax your shoulders. You don't even need to look at the screen right now. Okay? Just close your eyes and listen to me. I want you to begin by taking, at the count of 3, a deep breath in. Wait till I say 3. Breathing in through your nose, sending the air deep down into your body. See if you can send the air all the way down your spine, maybe even down into your hips, your legs, maybe even your feet. Then you'll hold the breath till I say exhale, and you're going to blow it out, releasing any tension, stagnation, or resistance in your being. And we're going to do this twice, all right? All right, drop your shoulders. 1, 2, breathe in. All the way to the top, and hold the breath. As you hold the breath, relax your chest and blow it out. All the way out. Breathe in again, but breathe in half the speed. Go very, very slow. Even slower. Hold the breath peacefully, gently in your body, filling your body with light as it expands, relaxing every part of you, and exhale. Bowing your head forward, surround yourself with light. A beautiful light emanating from the point between your eyebrows, expanding in every direction around you, front to back, top to bottom, side to side, all around, expanding, getting bigger and brighter and bigger, till the entire room is filled with this light, bigger than the entire house, city, state, country, world. Zoom out to outer space. See the earth surrounded by light that you are emanating and giving to the earth and all of its inhabitants. As I say this blessing, you join me in spirit, and after that, I'll say goodbye, and the guide will say hello. Here we go. Great Spirit of Love, thank you for uniting us at this moment. Thank you for all the blessings of the past, present, and future. Thank you as well for the blessings in disguise of the past, present, and future. Help us to hear the guidance from the quiet places of consciousness coming from all light, helping us to understand, dive into, surrender to, and integrate the magic that always is in all situations, past, present, and future. We send peace, love, and blessings to all beings everywhere in every timeline, every dimension, every universe, every reality, because peace is what we believe in. Good. Take another deep breath. And I'll see you later. Hello.
Hello. Who am I speaking with?
You're called Baba. You can call me Baba.
Baba.
Why you have begun to curse love. You have experienced love, but then you are cursing the love that when it is away from you, you are cursing it. You do not wish to have it back, but you at the same time are wishing to have it. You have begun to suspect all good things. You are suspecting of luck, of miracles, of love. All your religions are teaching you that you are one people. But there is conflict in that, because when you are learning about your religion, immediately you are, in a sense, separating yourself from others. So there is a conflicting information for you. That conflicting information is that God is one or God is many. God is you. God come in the form of a man or in nature. You have ancestors, you have the prophets, you have the deities, and all are reflecting an aspect of this consciousness that you are. You have begun to trust fear. Fear is always there for you. When you look for it, you find it. When you don't look for it, you discover it. You stumble across it, because it is almost as if it is some sort of monument, permanent structure that you have on the landscape of yourself, and that you cannot avoid it, like an ocean or a mountain or the soil beneath your feet. Every day that you trust, there will be air for you to breathe. Those who cannot breathe, they have the problem of the breathing. When you are very worried, you cannot catch your breath. You are breathing very heavy, so that means that you are trying to live. You are struggling to live. And what does it mean that you are struggling to live? Are the cells very damaged that they cannot receive the oxygen? Or is it you that is controlling the flow of that air? Because the lungs, they do not need so much air to breathe. When you are sleeping, how much air are you taking into your body? Very, very quietly. When you are having a bad dream, when you are experiencing the fear, then you are breathing very heavy. And you can see that in a person who's having the nightmares, breathing very heavy. That means they are in distress. They are trying to live, trying to survive. And so now you are learning to breathe, and you have many, many, many teachers teaching you how to breathe. The most natural thing that you can do as a human, that is the first thing that you do, is to breathe. That means you are alive. And so now you are learning to breathe. You have to relearn how to breathe, because even the breathing, due to what you think is real, what you think is your destiny, that if there is fear, then there will be destruction. And so you begin to believe this. You look for the fear, it is there. You search for love, it is very hard to find it. Why is that? It's so easy to find the fear, so challenging to find love. That is because you are love and you are not fear. Fear is a thing that is separate from you. That is why when you look for it or you stumble across it, it is there. But you are love itself. It is like trying to see under your nose without a mirror. You cannot see here. No matter how hard you try, that part you cannot see because it is what you are. And so, because your attention has gone to fear, you oftentimes surrender to the fear because that is what you see as real, separate from you, in front of you, coming at you. But in your greatest moments of joy and peace, what are you doing? You're surrendering. You meet a person who you are feeling love for. You see a child, you see a plant, you taste something. It is returning you, reminding you. Music reminds you. To see art reminds you. To see the mountain reminds you of that which you are. But that is an automatic feeling that is happening inside of you. That is not something that is a conscious, you are trying to feel it. It immediately affects you. It resonates with you. So that is why the music of creation, Om. Om is the sound of the universe. It is what it is, the vibration that you can feel also. Because when you are saying Om or you are chanting, it is not only that you are chanting a sacred sound, but it is a vibration, you are feeling it in the physical body. And that is why you yourself are love. It is harder to understand yourself. Very much like when you are hearing your voice recorded for the first time. Then you heal, you listen back to that, and you hear your voice, and you say, that is not me. You do not sound like yourself. Not to you. But every other voice on that recording sounds like the other person. But to you, it does not sound like you. And that is because you are within it. You cannot have that perspective because it is not separate from you. At that moment, when it is recorded, you have a separation. The voice is captured on this recording, and you can listen back to it. But when you are speaking, what it sounds like to you, what it feels like to be you, that is a completely uniform experience. It is all one. Thus, you have a question.
I do have a question. So humans seem to be struggling with emotions, and I would love to know, I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase this, because it's such a lengthy topic, but people would like to know how to handle their emotions better, how to be at peace with their emotions, to understand their emotions. Can you speak to this?
When you are saying emotions, that will be very difficult and challenging to try to change. But what you can do is to try to change your reactions. Because what you are referring to as this feeling is the resistance to what you are. You are coming into the world as love. You have forgotten this, and that is why you need reminders. When you are having fun, you are reminded of love. When you are with another person who's bringing joy, there is some beauty in them, perhaps in their physical, perhaps in their personality, then you are also feeling love. When you are hearing music, again and again, outside physical things are reminding you of the internal reality of what you are. That is why you like what you are like. So you like that person, it is because they are like a version of you. Perhaps it is unexpressed version of you. When you are biting into the very sweet fruit, there is a knowing that happens in there. You are biting into it and you are tasting. Really, it is you are tasting yourself. And so, if you believe that all of these wonderful feelings are from the true reality of love, then you are beginning to understand what you are as well. And if that is what you are completely, then anything that is obstructing that is not really an emotion. That is, you are putting the brakes. You are saying, that my state of being naturally is love. But when something is happening that you do not want, though it is what it is being experienced or expressed by another person to you. That means they are doing, saying, being something you do not like, whether it is to you or to another person. Whether it is the way they look, the way they talk, the way they are smelling even. Now, many can say that these reactions are the programmed reactions. Because you say, well, to a farmer, the smell of the manure on the soil is a good smell. That smell of the manure on the soil means that the crops are growing, they are being fed. Now, to the person visiting the farm, they are saying, that is a very bad smell. So it is what you are defining as, what is this smell? Is it something that is good happening for the farm, the crops? So the farmer, she knows this very well. But if it is happening to the person visiting who has never been to a farm, do not know how that the manure is feeding the soil, and that is how you are eating, they have not made that connection. They are out of touch with nature, the cycle of nature. When the rain comes, for many poets, that is a bad news. For the farmer, it is very good news. When the sun comes, to those who are used to a very cold climate, that can be very harsh. And so it is the reactions that are different than what is the comfortable reality. The comfortable reality is that you do not want to be disturbed by anything that is your path, what you feel, what I want to do. What you want to do must be unobstructed. That is what the innocence in you says. It must be unobstructed. And because when you come into this world, ideally, you are hungry, your parents feed you. You are cold, they cover you. You are hot, they uncover you. You need to walk, they hold your hand. You fall, they pick you up. And so, you are always coming from that you are supported. Now, when you are uncomfortable with your emotions, it is because you are uncomfortable really from your reactions about what you are perceiving this situation to be. From the tribal people who are very comfortable with death. Somebody in the tribe dies, they are comfortable with this because they are understanding the cycle of life. They are understanding the eternity of the soul. Tribal people say they are going to the gods in the sky, they are going to ancestors, they are going to another place. This is very much ingrained in them. As you have been told this before. But again, reminding you, because to remind you is to remind you of love of yourself. Now, when something bad happens to you, that means somebody says something to you that you do not like. I do not want to be with you. That means if a friend or a lover or even job is saying, we don't want to be with you, what they are saying is they no longer feel that this is of some benefit to them. Perhaps it is because they feel you also have done something to them or you have withheld from them. But the experience to you at that time is painful because you feel that something has been done to you, something has been taken away. So what has been taken away? Your security, your love has been taken away from you. The connection that you are supported has been taken away from you. Even something as simple as you have hurt a part of your body and that part of your body feels unsafe now. Maybe you have twisted your ankle and no one is there to help you. Now you are holding your ankle and you are rocking back and forth. You are trying to breathe. You are trying to lick your wounds. And it is this natural inclination of all beings of togetherness. That is why it is there. It is not that you are supposed to be alone, sitting somewhere forever. That is maybe part of it. I sat under the neem tree for many years. And villagers walking by, what is he doing? He is a madman. Little children would throw the stones at me. What did they know? That is a crazy man sitting there under the tree. Every day he is wearing a cloth. He is only breathing. He is only reciting something. He seems poor. The children do not understand what it is. So they tease and they throw the stones. What would sense to make for me in that lifetime to yell at them, to throw stones back at them? I can get up and find another tree. Those who say, but this is my tree, I must stay here. Well, then you must then deal with those who are opposing you, who do not understand you. But you have a wonderful part of you, and it is part of your survival inclination, and that is you are always seeking a better situation for yourself. Even if you are sitting in your room, you are hungry, better situation, you are hungry to go to kitchen and eat something. You see, you have to use very simple examples this way, because when you are caught up in the turmoil, in this kind of tornado of this resistance, your reactions, you are in a tornado of your reactions, something very simple is very much needed. Breathing again. Perhaps you have an animal, the sight of this animal. Perhaps you have to think of a loved one who is passed away. The thought of them brings you some comfort. Now you can choose to focus on that they are not here physically. Of course you will do that. But again, you are training yourself, because every incarnation that you are experiencing, you are here not only to simply to continue to simply to discover who you were in past lives, but you are here to create, to add to that legacy, to add to this stage of growth, which is endless stage of growth. You are not incarnating on the planet simply that you are here to examine the past lives, and then you are to kind of gather little information and say, oh, this is why this is happening this lifetime. It is not for you to stay the same. It is that you are growing. So the child is born, it is enlightened. It has freedom of love, it has freedom of mind, it has freedom of language, can learn many languages at once. The child is enlightened. It is a natural yogi. It is flexible in the body. It is full of light, full of love. And so you are born enlightened. So if you are born enlightened, what is the point of coming? There is a point, because you are not only here for that, you are here to grow bigger. And so that is one stage of enlightenment, to be born. So you are here in the very short time, whether you are here 10 years, 20, 100, in that time, what you are doing is you are experiencing all of this, what you may call contrast. In the contrast, you are going to find out how to expand upon what you are, not to simply stay the enlightenment of the way you are here. Some cultures say you are here to be God-like. You are here to be a God. Even in the Christian religions, it is said to be like Jesus. Jesus is God to them. So to be more like God, to have the consciousness of this. And so, in place like India, what you are saying in Hinduism, it is to be a God yourself, to become that. And what is God? In your English, it is good. You have taken the word and made them one, good and God. So how you are dealing with your emotions is, you first must have a foundation that all is, in a sense, reality, but it is also something that you have co-created. Now you have heard that word, and the modern teachers are saying you have co-created this reality. How do you co-create another reality? But the belief has to change. You cannot simply do affirmation and say, no, I will never have this thing happen to me again. And because many people have said that in bad situations, I will never have this happen to me again, and happens again and again. Why? You cannot simply make a declaration that it is not going to happen again. That everybody says. But you must change the belief that has added to the creation of a situation. What does that mean? That means that whatever the emotional vibration in you, if it is very stiff, then you will have things that will oppose that stiffness. If you are flexible, then you are moving with everything. Look at nature. As you are understanding the plant kingdom, you see what is flowing, the water flowing. So you are, even the sailors, they learn how to use the wind for the ships. And after some time, they also started to learn how to create a motor to go against the wind. But again, that is that you are seeing a need and you are creating a technology. That is what your technology is. You are seeing a need and you are wondering how to fulfill that need. So you had to go against the water, against the current, against the wind. And so you built it, you took what is out of the ground, you made it to the stars, you made it to the moon. And these are your ships made from the materials of the earth. You have the materials inside of you too to reach the stars inside of you, crown chakra, in your consciousness. Use the resources deep within. So when you are ascending, you are actually going inside. It is not you are going up there somewhere, from somewhere else. You are going down within. When you begin to do that, the natural curriculum of this education is understanding your reactions. It is nowhere else. It is not that you are here to be a person simply meditating. Look at me, how long I can meditate, how long I can sit under the tree. That will be easy compared to how long you can sit and walk in this world with the people who are doing things you don't like. What do you do about them? Perhaps there will always be those who do things that you don't like. Do not waste your time, whether it is 70, 80, maximum 100 years you are on the planet. You are waiting for everyone to do everything as you like. You want everything to be perfect. Then once it is perfect, what will you do? What will you? You will start living then. Huh? So now you are living half. That means that fear has become your master rather than love. Your commitment must return to love. That the love that you are. It does not mean to every person you must give of everything of yourself to them. That is not the love we are talking. Because you cannot possibly give everything of yourself to every person you meet. You are also here to experience. So what you are doing is this love that we are referring to is the center of your being, that you are breathing, that you are flowing, that you are allowing, that you are flexible, that you are not resisting what is being experienced so that you can use it. That is what your technology is. Whether it is the candle that is burning using the oxygen, it is flowing with that understanding, that circuit of energy, that the fire is consuming the oxygen and the wax is melting. The glass is strong enough to hold the flame inside. The table is strong enough to hold the glass. The rock that is under the candle is also made of what it needs to be to hold that. And your technology the same. Now transmission coming through technology of the channel, the transmission going through microphone, going out into airwaves, reaching technology of the ear, of the eye, going into the processing, into consciousness. This happens very quickly. Instantaneously. You see, when you are aware, then you can no longer be bored. Because the boredom, it is fundamentally, it is that you are unaware of what is going on. The miracles happening inside your body. Just for you to hear this voice coming from somewhere that perhaps you can feel, perhaps you do not believe, but it is happening. Whether or not you believe, do not believe, like, do not like, you are hearing the sound now. And that itself is a miracle. If you really think about it. And then what begins to happen, because you have come into a surrender, you have come into seeing the grandeur of reality. You will start to submit, you will start to surrender, you will start to feel. Not that you are overwhelmed. That is only a portion of your surrender, because as you are more sensitive, you feel all of the stimulation of the world, of the people, of what they are saying and doing to you, and what you are reacting to out there, and you begin to feel overwhelmed. That is only a stage. After overwhelming, when you apply this technology, inner technology, that is the IT, inner technology, it is also information technology. Then, when you are applying this inside of yourself, inner technology means that you are understanding how energy is being used. When you understand what energy is, it is how you are understanding and you are managing what you are, and that is love energy. And so, you know when you are putting more love into something, and you know when you are just going through motions. When you are putting emotions of love into something, then that is going to be, it is going to be felt by those who are able to receive it. You cannot make everyone receive it. What else you are asking?
That's such a good reminder. On a more personal, technical area, I'm curious, what was your full name when you were on the planet?
In one life, there was from Shirdi.
And have you reincarnated since you have?
I have not died.
Wow. What a great reminder that we are love. We all know we are love technically, but we never see emotions as a block to the love. We see it.
It is your reactions that are they block. You are keep calling fear, anger, sadness. You are calling them emotions. They are not emotions. Only one emotion, that is love. Everything that you are is love. And therefore, everything that happens around you is also love. At its core, you say, how can that be? If you look at those who you are finding to be unpleasant, those who you have done something to you, once you take your personal offense out of it, how do we know? Because when something affects you personally, it is very different than if it affects somebody else. If somebody is a victim of a crime somewhere else, you may feel upset, you may feel the pain, but not like as if it has happened to you or a loved one. So if you were to take away this personal reaction, and you see a person who has done something very wrong, and your teachers have come in this channel and have told you that prisons are filled with very damaged people. What has happened? They were full of love as a baby in the crib. Then experiences happened to them. Some sort of abuse happened to them. Some sort of neglect happened to them. Some sort of misguidance happened to them, to the innocent, love, enlightened child that was in the crib. They are not born this way. And so they are made. And so even at the root of their anger, there is pain. At the root of their pain is the frustration. At the root of the frustration is an upset. At the root of the upset is a feeling that something happened to them. That is from innocence. They were doing good, something happened and has fractured their innocence, and the innocence is based on the love. And so at the root of it is love. It is a call to love. When sometimes they are doing things that are very damaging to society. Now, that is in the terms of what you call the criminals. But you also have those who are causing harm to themselves, not to others. Are they criminals to themselves? They can be, because that is when they begin to punish themselves also. They are judging themselves. They are punishing themselves. They are even executing themselves. Sometimes those who are in this suicide, they are executing themselves for they are not living up to what they feel they are, and world is not also living up to what they feel world should be. So and part of them feels that to survive, I must not live. Whether they believe that after this physical life they exist or not, that outcome is better than this outcome, that is to live. So they are in a sense surviving even from suicide. It is the call from the fear and disappointment to try to survive, to go to somewhere better. Now, so there is this destructive pattern. Someone is killing themselves slowly, whether it is with too much food and drink, not enough food and drink, too much substances that are harmful to them. Also, behaviors. The behaviors are based on reactions. That is what a behavior is. It is a reaction. You cannot have a behavior if you do not have a reaction first. So you have a behavior, it is because you have a reaction. You have a reaction because there is a certain belief you have that this should be, this should not be. This should be like this, done like this, said like this, and this should not be this way. And other side always will be other side of a person, another person who feels opposite to you. They are also feeling they are right. They are also feeling that they should be what they should be. So this is conflict. You are calling it but a conflict. How to live in the world that is so chaotic that you say, if it is so chaotic, how can I be a peaceful person? If I am attacked, I must also fight back. That is your choice. And that is the conundrum that many are having in wars. Because I believe that killing is wrong. You kill me, now I will have to kill you. You have killed my innocent people, I will have to kill your innocent people. And we'll keep going. And that is the cycle. That is talked about in many, many scriptures of many, many belief systems. Then you are always in the right and wrong. In every side will have that evidence who is right and who is wrong. And every side will say, but I am right and but I am right. But they are wrong and but they are wrong too. And this is the cycle of destruction that is happening. Now think about this. We are giving this example for the wars around the world have happened for many thousands of years. What about internal? You have inner world can have wars. You are talking about fear. You are talking about the climate inside. And so what does it mean to finally master oneself? To master oneself means that one has mastered their reactions to things. Internally, we are not talking about your face, that you have a poker face, something is happening very bad, but you are smiling through it. But you see, the cells of the body already know what you are truly feeling. The cells of the body are reacting to what the vibration is in the body, not the smile upon your face or poker face that nothing wrong is happening. But you are only concerned with what the others are thinking about you, how they think you are reacting in that situation. Are you afraid? Are you angry? Are you upset? Has it affected you? But you have a poker face. And so what people need is they need to have outlets. So they are upset at work. They cannot yell back at their boss. So they go and they exercise and they are doing boxing or they are doing something that is letting this. Maybe they are screaming into the pillow. Maybe they are screaming at others who did nothing to them, but it is the stresses. So that is what is happening. And this is endless cycle in every area. And to stop this cycle, you return to the self, you return to the breath, to calm yourself. Once you start to breathe again, you learn how to control your breath. Then you will slow down. Naturally, the brain waves will change. Naturally, the emotions and nervous system will calm down. There is not a calm person who is panting and screaming. This is the mastery of the self. And if you have to walk through the ice and take the cold baths and you have to sit under the tree and go on the mountain and be silent for 10 days, 30 days, starve yourself for 30 days, 20 days, whatever it is that you are trying to reach, that is not how you want to live. These are exercises for you to test yourself or perhaps to also relieve tension within you, to quiet the mind or to see how much noise you are having in the mind. So you meditate for many times, you fast for many weeks, you go and you do the ice therapy or this, all of these things that you are doing to try to help yourself. Nothing wrong with that, except how long will you do it? Will you keep doing it? You do not need to do it. You can spend time loving another person, serving another person, not always trying to torture yourself, to heal yourself. So maybe you will feel something in these extreme behaviors, to simply try to feel again. What do you mean? You are already feeling. That is why you are doing the extreme behavior. So much feeling has happened inside of you. What you are trying to do is release all that you have been feeling.
But it's never truly released because there's no such thing as a release.
And that is why they say when you are looking for fear, you will find it again. Unless you redefine what?
Redefine.
Yes.
So some people will call that reprogramming. That's another way of saying it. But redefining sounds more holistic.
It is a return to your original programming. That is much better for you, to know that you have come in as love. That cannot be extinguished in you. It can be covered. That is true. So you are returning. So you do not need to say that you are changing. You are surrendering to the truth of what you are. Bless you.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
I could have literally listened to him for 10 hours straight. So tell me, can you tell me his name again?
So I have to give you a backstory, guys. You know that I'm Indian. Parents from there and all the generations before them. And in India, there have been many gurus, and there was one in particular who was called Sai Baba of Shirdi. That's spelled Shirdi, which you're probably going to write in the YouTube description. And not many people, really, no one knows a lot about him. This is in the late 1800s, mid 1800s. I think that he crossed over maybe right around 1900. And he had a very mysterious background. And people of all faiths in India regarded him as an enlightened being. So you can look him up, Shirdi Sai Baba. There's two Sai Babas. There was one with the big fro who was from South India, which a lot of people see. They use his image a lot in pop culture, but that's not the Sai Baba. This one is Shirdi Sai Baba, who you don't see as much. And years ago, there was a temple in India that I was at that I just literally stumbled across. And I had no idea what the temple was, and I was overwhelmed with a feeling. And that happens to me as a channel every now and again, more often than not, actually. But this was an unbelievable feeling. And I felt this immense love. I felt this immense... What more can I say than immense love, honestly?
Was it his temple?
Yeah. It ended up being where a lot of his devotees and followers were. It was basically a sacred site. And I had forgotten about it. I mean, I remembered it, but I forgot about it. It wasn't like something I think about all the time. But I think this is way before I was a channeler. This is when I was, must have been, I don't know, 22, 23 years old. And every time I would see his picture, once in a while I would run across his picture. Now you can tell the story of when now I understand we were in the airport.
That was him?
Yeah. That picture that we saw. You want to tell that story?
Oh my God. Yeah. So we just came back from Denmark and...
No, we were on our way.
Yes. But we just came back from Denmark.
Sorry.
Because they don't know what that
Sorry, I can't think. Coming out of channeling, I hear the words out of order.
So when we were leaving and we were in LAX, we were in the elevator and we looked down and there was this little prayer card and it had a picture of a saint or a guru, and I recognized it as an Indian guru because in India they have them in all the temples and the stores and everything. And we both looked down on the floor and it was staring right at us. And it was so crazy.
We weren't even supposed to be. Yeah. And we were on an elevator that was like, we weren't even supposed to be on. I mean, we were, but we weren't.
So that was the same group.
That was, Shirdi Sai Baba.
That's how he let you know that he wanted to speak.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you a question. So this is the first, I believe this is the first Indian guru / energy / personality that you have channeled.
I think so. I mean, years ago, I got a message from the god Hanuman when I first met you.
I remember that.
And
that's a whole nother story. I have to tell it in detail. But
yeah,
Hanuman, like that.
And Yogananda has been around me, but I've never fully trance channeled Yogananda. But this, I've always kind of knew every time I looked at a picture of Shirdi Sai Baba. And maybe you'll be able to put up a picture of him in this video. If not, you guys can.
Yeah, I definitely will. I wanted to say that this will probably be the first time many Indian people are going to be drawn to maybe our YouTube channel because they have not been interested maybe in other
if you're from
gurus.
India and watching.
So what I was going to ask you
Yes.
is, would you like to talk to them in Hindi and say something to them?
Well, first, for those of you who are watching in Hindi, I'll just say namaskar और आपका स्वागत है कि आप हमारे podcast के लिए आए हैं. And this is really something that पहली बार मैं channeling कर रहा हूँ आप लोगों के सामने. अभी मैं इंडिया नहीं आया हूँ channeling के वजह से, तो हम तो सिर्फ अपने family को देखने के लिए जाते हैं इंडिया. So I wanted to say that I hope to introduce the Indian audience to channeling as well in this way. There hasn't been many people of my descent really who have been in the channeling world. So welcome to all our new people in India. And maybe I'll do some channeling in Hindi as well one day.
Well, I was going to ask, there was a moment I was going to ask this guru if he wanted to channel in Hindi, but I wanted to talk to you first.
I don't think he was a Hindi speaker.
That's possible.
Well, I don't think he was a Hindi speaker. But a word about that. It's a good question. can channels channel in languages they don't know? I've heard of maybe one or two instances where it's happened. You know, I've said some words in other languages.
Yeah.
I have said words, Bulgarian, also in an Indian dialect that I don't know at all. But there were only certain words or phrases that would come through, and that's very rare. Channeling is not about showing something like a magic show of, look, he's channeling another language. That's not what channeling is about. See, the guides have a message. They are trying to raise our evolution and expand our consciousness. So they're going to use certain channels that it's like getting a car. If you have a Ferrari, it's not a snowmobile. So you're like, well, it goes forward, it has wheels, it travels. Why can't it be a snowmobile? Why can't that channeler speak in the language of the spirit guide? Because my mouth isn't designed to speak that way.
Your tongue only goes certain ways.
Of course, it's used to that. They're using the limitations of the physical channel. So you say, that's almost like saying, well, if the spirit guide can walk through walls, why can't Riz walk through a wall? Because the spirit guide's in his body. No, you're dealing with the physical reality here, okay? And they are using my body as an instrument. If you're playing a guitar, it's going to sound like a guitar, not a piano or a trumpet. So if you're going to go through a channeler, the guides are transmitting blocks of thought, energy information in through the consciousness of the channeler, and through some kind of translation service of the gods, it is coming through in the language that is in my database and I have access to.
Did Yogananda speak Hindi?
Yogananda spoke in English to me.
Oh, he did.
Oh, you mean in real life?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, he spoke English, but
And
his
Hindi.
native language was Bengali, actually.
Oh, I see.
Now, with Sai Baba, I don't think his native language was Hindi. I think he spoke Marathi, but he probably spoke Hindi.
I wanted to ask you one last question.
Sure.
I remember when we went to the Self-Realization Center
Sure.
in Malibu?
Pacific Palisades.
Okay. So I remember we went into the little chapel and we sat there and there was all these gurus, right?
Yes.
From everywhere.
Yes.
And there was one in particular that his eyes always had this little bit of water. Like he was always in a state of in between dimensions. He was very emotional. And it was like he was seeing the world through the eyes of love and God. And I was very moved and touched by him. Is this the same?
No, the gurus that are in that temple in Self-Realization Fellowship, one would be Yogananda's guru, who is Sri Yukteswar. And then the guru of his guru was Babaji. But there's no photographs of Babaji.
There's no photographs.
No,
so
there
was
weren't
a
cameras
painting.
then. There's a painting.
But so through wisdom teachings, it was passed down that he was always with a little bit of water in his eyes.
Many gurus
have that.
in
it's
India
like a glazed
have that.
over.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes when you look at the old Indian, the paintings or even the modern paintings of certain gurus, and you see a hand like this and you see their eyes and they're half closed because they are in between dimensions. So they're half on the other side and half here.
I love that so much.
And that's the purpose. And then
through some of my journeys, I have experienced that.
I asked one of the guides a long time ago, I said, how come I wasn't just living in an ashram or a temple? And they said, no, your work is not here in India. We have plenty. Your work is as a bridge. You're here to be born in the Bronx and in Harlem, New York City.
Well,
and
they
you're
put
here
you in the actual
to sing in a band and to marry a Viking. And
they put you in the toughest location. They threw you in the deep end, literally, and said, mingle. Mingle with everyone.
But that was my path, to be the only person,
Wow.
only kid like that, racially and also psychically, as far as I know, growing up at that time in Harlem and in the Bronx and going through that was my trial by fire. But also there was so much love and soulfulness where I grew up that why would that be any less soulful than India? It's not. It's not. It's just as soulful. And so that was my path in this lifetime to come from that. And the spirit guides and even some of the gurus that I met in India that were aware of what I was doing, certain teachers there had said, your path is here. You chose to be born in New York City. You chose all of that because whatever I'm adding to the mix, we all have our gifts. We're all adding our gifts, hopefully, to the world. That what I was going to add was going to be really natural to me. So that's it for me.
Well, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And if you have any questions or you would like to comment on any of future topics that you would love to have Riz channel on, perhaps, we would love to hear from you. And we'll see you for Psychic Sunday.
Be good.
Bye-bye.